you like to report?
Yes, please, thank you. We are already addressing the slum problem in Lagos. Every major city of over 10 million people have slums, even the UK. We have evolved a Lagos Metropolitan and Development Governance Program, working in Makoko, in Agege, in Urile, in Ijorabadia. And we are providing new drainages, we are providing new schools, we are providing trading opportunities, markets for these people. Now, we cannot move these people out. What our government is doing is to empower them and enable them in their own environment. And really, contrary to what my opponent has said about businesses moving out of Lagos, the numbers that we have, we are the regulators, show that more businesses have come into Lagos over the last 4 years than who knows. The truth is that in the last 2 months, 2 major international businesses, MasterCard have come into Lagos, TNS have come into Lagos, hotel groups are springing up, Protea, Radisson, Sheraton, Oriental. This is a sign of an economy that has investor confidence. Our bonds are being oversubscribed. The economy of Lagos is heading in the right direction.
Thank you. Let's take a question from silence, please.
Okay, the next question is directed at Governor Fashola, but I'd also like the other candidates to address it. It dwells on the rising space of insecurity, and it looks like it appears that criminals are this time moving from armed robbery attacks to kidnapping, and this time even in some cases with nannies or families getting involved in kidnapping children. What would your government do to check this rising menace in our system, or do we have to wait for the federal government to send in the military again to intervene like it did in Abia State?
The federal government-led PDP has shown its inability to discharge the primary responsibility it has to secure Nigerians. The police that are in Lagos today have transformed in 4 years under the management and skillful implementation of policies and laws made by this state. We have become the safest state in this country, in spite of the fact that we do not control the police. We fuel them, we equip them, we provide patrol vehicles for them. And this is clear evidence that my opponent here from the PDP has nothing to offer Lagosians. The PDP has imported kidnapping and bombings into our national site. And what is really happening is that in other states where there is no security, which is evident, people are moving to Lagos because they feel this is the place to come, this is the place where they will be safe. This is how we imported in Lagos from across the country. And we continue to do our best. We continue to do our best to provide succor, to provide security for people who choose to come and live in our state.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, you see, the part of the problems of insecurity majorly is caused by, is a social problem created by one, unemployment, which is being caused by the harsh economic policies of this administration in Lagos State. Most of the companies are moving out of Lagos. The environment is very harsh. The tax regime is too aggressive. And the people are moving into Lagos on a daily basis, and there are no jobs for them. What will happen? Social problem. Kidnapping and what have you are part of social problems created by the unfortunate policies heaped on Lagosians by this government. And that is why we have come up, we are experts in public policy and policy drive development. And we will come up with policies that will drive this and change the fate of Lagosians. We believe that the money that Lagosians pay as taxes are enough to transform Lagos into a better place.
Yes, we need to create jobs because the problem with high crime rates is because you have a large pool of unemployed people. And I want to emphasize that we need a comprehensive agricultural and industrial revolution in Lagos State. An agricultural and industrial revolution in Lagos State will create employment opportunities for a lot of the so-called criminals who are making life difficult for majority of the people. And I want to emphasize that there is need for increased government participation in the economy of the state. There are a lot of graduates today who have very good ideas fine feasibility studies, but they don't have the capital. An AMPP administration in Lagos State will have an agricultural and industrial revolution fund where graduates can draw money and set up industry that will create jobs.
Thank you.
And it will reduce the rate of crime.
Dr. Damo.
Security. I think it is the state itself that is breeding criminals. After breeding criminals, you now send out security agents, arm them with guns and bullets to go and kill them. We should empower the parents, all parents, to bring up their children properly. A parent who is poor, who has no job, who has nothing, cannot send his child to school, and the parent cannot go to hospital. Right now, nobody can go to any public hospital because it's not working, and he has to spend his money on private treatment, on other things that the state ought to have taken care of. The child himself or herself has no school to go to. If he goes to public school, his future or her future is already doomed. When he gets out of school, he cannot get a job. These are criminals you are breeding. And then you send security agents after them to kill them. The only way to solve security problem is to start by breeding good children, empowering their parents, making sure they go to school when they should be in school. They get job when they should be in job.
What would you do to solve the security or to make it better as Ijoma did? Is that what you do?
I will ensure that the parents are at work, they get jobs. I will ensure that schools are functioning and that they are properly taken care of. The children are properly taken care of. Teachers are paid and they are trained, and there is discipline in schools. And if the children come up and they have jobs and their parents are able to take care of them, they will be criminals.
All right, thank you. Mr. Randall.
What we are faced with is a social crisis. And you see, in Lagos, we used to have an elite, then a middle class, and a lower class. But now, the elite are terrified of Governor Fashola. The middle class are equally terrified of his government. And then the lower classes have abandoned their responsibility. So what you now have is a huge underclass who are at war with everybody. And that is what is happening. And even the police on whom you rely for security, they are enraged. You go to the police station, it's like going to a battlefield. Or you go to the barracks. 10 father and wife, father and mother are living in the same room with 10 children. If you don't believe it, go to Ije, go to Morocco, and then on top of that, you have places like Makoko, you have Morocco, you have Ajegule, and of course, we are in civil war.
All right, thank you. Remember that one. Silence, please. Thank you.
I'd like to focus my next question on the revenue allocation formula. And I'd like to ask each of the candidates what they think are the limitations or what issues they have with the revenue allocation formula as it exists today, and what they will do about it or what they think can be done about it.
Chief Tokwe.
Yes, please. Well, I am a true federalist. We know that what we are practicing in Nigeria today is not true federalism. Otherwise, the issue of revenue allocation will not be a big problem. What we are practicing is against what is in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What we are practicing is a unitary system of government, where the federal government in Abuja controls a large chunk of the resources of the nation. I am in favor of practicing true federalism, or the variant they call cooperative federalism, whereby each state will control her resources. That will be a better alternative for us. For example, Lagos State generates about 15-16 billion every month, IGR, internally generated revenue, and about 6 billion from the federation account.
Time up, go on. Go on, complete your thoughts.
Yes, but what you have on the ground, is not commensurate with the huge resources at the disposal of the state government. So there is need to review the revenue allocation and also to ensure that we practice true federalism or cooperative federalism that will enable states, to generate their own resources which they can use for rapid social and economic development of their states.
All right, thank you.
We need a new referential allocation formula.
Okay, Mr. Paki.
Thank you. If Chief Tucker had listened properly, he would have realized that for the infrastructure of Lagos alone, you needed at least $10 billion over the next few years. And even Dr. Randall admits this one. Clearly, it is inconsistent, therefore, to suggest that we have more money than we need. But the revenue allocation formula in the country today is clearly lopsided in favor of the federal government. The federal government continues to keep 52% of the national revenues. It allows states to share 26%. 36 states share 26%, and 774 local governments share 20%, and then there's about 2 or 3% that they hide under some amorphous ecological fund, which nobody knows what they do. But in spite of that revenue, there is no power, there is no electricity, and this is the major cause of unemployment. This is why factories can't work. This is why there is unemployment. The number of factories have dwindled in the textile industry alone from 129 to about 24. They shut down because there is no power.
Go ahead.
And therefore, clearly, until there is a better revenue allocation formula, unfortunately, we have just set up a committee of the Governors Forum, which I am chairing, to propose a new revenue allocation formula for the country. This is the clearest evidence. The Constitution requires that the revenue formula be changed periodically, I believe once every 5 years. This is the clear evidence of the illegality of PDP government at the federal and across all the other states where their security have failed, where they've controlled, where they've mismanaged the economy, imposing an enormous burden on Lagos. And the quicker really this is corrected, giving more money to the states, more money to the federal government, more money to the local governments, so that the local governments and the states can become the theaters of development. This is where people live. These are the governments that respond daily to people. Nobody picks people's calls in Abuja when there's a fire. I pick those calls.
Okay. Any minimum wage yet? So we talk about the minimum wage. What would you do about the minimum wage?
About minimum wage. I have no objection in principle to the idea of a minimum wage. But the problem really is that we are creating a burden on the states imposed by the federal. The federal government continues to keep 52%. It has fewer staff compared to what the states on the aggregate carry. If we must have minimum wage, as has been proposed, the federal government must shed that 52%. And this is the recommendation we will be making to the National Assembly and to the Revenue Mobilization Committee. You cannot impose an unfunded obligation and mandate on the state. All of the governors are saying clearly that they may either have to close shop if they have to pay this money. This is reality. This is the mismanagement of Nigeria's economy by the PDP-led federal government. Every time that there's a problem, the solution they have is go and give them more money or go and make a law.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you. I believe that the problem of Lagos State is not that of revenue allocation. It's that of application and utilization of revenue. I said earlier on that Lagos State in the last 4 years has collected over 2 trillion naira. And both from internally generated statutory allocation, external debt, Lagos State accounts for 16% of the nation's external debt. And what do we have on ground to show for it? If we continue at the rate we are going, Lagos will be bankrupt. And the only way out is for us to ensure there is probity, transparency, and accountability. I challenge the authorities in government to publish the cost of all their contracts. We are aware that Lekki-Ajah Road is being awarded for 50 billion, a 48-kilometer road, over 1 billion naira per kilometer.